The time for action has arrived.
Former President Donald Trump met with sharp criticism on Monday after he released a new statement taking credit for the success of NATO and claiming that he helped arm Ukraine. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson,
Bitch, please!
Trump, who opposed NATO policies for a long time and even discussed pulling the United States out of the military alliance, claimed in his new remarks that there would be no NATO without him. Quoting him, "I hope everyone is able to remember that it was me as President of the United States that got delinquent NATO members to start paying their dues," which he did not, which amounted to hundreds of billions of dollars. There would be no NATO if I didn't act strongly and swiftly. Also, it was me that got the Ukraine the very effective anti-tank buster, the Javelins, when the previous administration was sending blankets. Let history note. Again, in the words of Samuel L. Jackson,
Bitch, please!
Now, critics of Trump quickly condemned this statement, noting his historic opposition to NATO and pointing out that it was his administration that previously withheld military assistance from the Ukraine in order to seek information on Joe Biden, who was then a candidate for the presidency of the United States. You want me to repeat that? I will, because we still got a lot of stupid Trumpers out there. And Todd Fisher, I hope you're watching, because this pertains directly to you. Let me repeat that. Pointing out that his administration previously withheld military assistance from the Ukraine in order to seek information on Joe Biden. So all those lies about Joe Biden trying to steal the election, it was Trump. Now, in 2019, Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives over allegations that he held hundreds of millions of dollars in aid in a hostage and tried to pressure Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to investigate Biden. However, obviously, he was acquitted by a Republican-led Senate in February of 2020. Not a surprise at all. But let's hear from someone who knows directly what this is all about. It was Trump that undermined U.S. national security and frozen military assistance to the Ukraine, leaving that lion of a nation vulnerable to attack. It was Trump's attacks on NATO that encouraged Vladimir Putin to believe NATO was fragile. Those are the words of former Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. And he is absolutely right. It was Trump's actions, even within the past few days, that undermined President Biden's efforts to avoid this war. Trump has blood on his hands. Trump dug his own political grave with his corruption. Efforts to undermine U.S. national security and support for petty tyrants. Now this, of course, or is it still Alexander Vindman quoting? Now, political reporter Sam Stein also pointed out his inconsistent messaging in Trump's new statement. Trump, who discussed pulling the United States from NATO, takes credit for NATO's existence in a new statement. Trump, who threatened to withhold weapons and funding from the Ukraine to get dirt on Biden, takes credit for Ukrainian weapons in same statement. Bloomberg columnist Matthew Nensing also responded to Trump's statement by calling him a relentlessly dishonest egomaniac. That's putting it very, very nicely. I didn't have a few choice words on that. Trump's latest comments comes as Russia and Ukraine have entered into their fifth day of fighting, after Russian President Vladimir Putin moved to invade the Eastern European country on Thursday. The US, NATO, and European Union have all condemned Russia's actions and moved to punish Moscow with severe economic sanctions. Trump, who has been a longtime friend of Putin, this week called the Russian leader very smart and praised the invasion as a genius and wonderful. However, in the past few days, the former GOP president has appeared to change his tune on the matter, instead labeled the ongoing war as appalling, and appeared to be issue support for Ukrainians. Stop, Trump. We know you're full of crap. You don't support the Ukrainians. If you did, why did you just call Putin a genius? We see right through you, you lying son of a bitch. As far as I'm concerned, you're just as bad as Putin. And as Colonel Vindman said in his tweet, you do have blood on your hands. And trust me, one way or another, you're going to be held responsible for it. As will Vladimir Putin. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.